This is the news review segment, and I have my guest in studio with me this morning. I have Dr. Joshua Zato. He's a political scientist and policy analyst. We also have Hamza Suhuyini. He's a legal practitioner, and coming from the camp of the NDC. And Anayal Sapong is a political analyst from the Movement for Change. Gentlemen, it's a rather solemn morning. Welcome to the news review segment on the AM show.
Thank you for having us.
You know what? Let me set the pace for the conversation. Since the news broke yesterday, since I heard it, I've been reminded of a poem by this Ghanaian poet and medical doctor, R.E.G. Amato. And I just want to spend a minute and more like give this ode to our fallen soldiers. The title is The Way I Would Like to Go, and I'm reading the poem now. This is the way I would like to go, if you must know. I would like to go while still young, while the dew is wet on the grass. To perish in a great air crash with a silver plane burning bright, like a flashing star in the night. While the huge wreckage all ablaze shines brightly for my last embrace, I like to see the flames consume each nerve and bone and hair and nail till the dust not but ash remains. Or a stone swiftly sink unseen. But if I should hear someone wail, because dust has gone back to dust, mad with fury, I shall return to smite the poor wretch on the head. So let me go when I am young, and the dew is still on the fen, with a silver plane burning bright, like a flashing star in the night. Mother, do not grieve when I am gone. This is my wish. I'd have it so. This mere burden of flesh was I, whom you loved and tended dearly. But you, my love, wherever you be, remember these warm lips of mine that poured their youthful passion out. I want to skip and end it by saying, by the red devouring flames will thou dust remain, believe me, part of the eternal mind of God. This is the way I would like to go. A poem by Ghanaian poet and medical doctor, R.E.G. Amato. May the souls of those who departed rest in peace. Gentlemen, this is what we are. And let me start with you, Hamza Suhuyini. How did you even receive the news, and what state of mind were you in?
Good morning to you and my colleagues on the show and our charity viewers out there. First of all, I think that it is important for me to express my condolences to His Excellency the President and the good people of the Republic of Ghana. Like you rightly indicated, this is a national tragedy. And especially for those of us who have had that close working relationship with a number of them, it hits even harder. I was around Dakuman police station. I had gone to arrange a bail for a client. So I think I got there approximately around 1 something. And I was with a colleague of mine, a very good brother of mine, interestingly, who happens to be on the other side of the political divide, the NPP. So whilst I was engaging with the police officers, he drew my attention to a post he saw on Facebook about a possible crash involving some state officials. At that time, the news was scanty.
Yeah.
I lost my bearing because, in truth, the whole day, which was quite unusual, I had not spoken with my own big brother. So quickly I came out and I placed a call to his office to be sure if he was in, like every family member would do. So when I got the information that he was in the office, so I just, and it was his PI I had called. So I knew they didn't have the information yet. So I just dropped that, told, okay, I'll call back. But before I dropped that call, it just strangely occurred to me that Honorable Mutala would be on the flight. I just cannot explain that feeling up till date. Since the whole of last night, so quickly, I started making calls, trying to be sure.
Yeah.
And instantly I requested for a key to the washroom from one of the police officers in there. So they guided me through the place, but I started making calls. And I called someone who told me that this is what he was hearing too, and that he is possibly inside that flight. I went to our platform. There was no confirmation. So I had to call someone a bit higher who confirmed that this was the case. So quickly I made arrangements to leave the place, to head towards Honorable Mutala's house. And I think we even first had to go to the late Limone's house. Yeah. Then from there, we proceeded to the Honorable Mutala Mohammed's house. Sweetie, I don't know how to say it, but for me, I was telling my wife last night, because I was on the phone with her throughout the night. 3 deaths had, I think, hit me this hard. First, my dad and my mom. I never thought that someone a bit distant death would hit me this hard, in all honesty. Because when I lost my mom, I said that was it. I was like, maybe apart from, God forbid, my wife and kids, I was like, I don't think that, and my immediate family members, I was like, I don't think that, I'm numb now. That's how I felt, especially after the passing of my mom.
I understand. For a while, I've been unable to cry to
hear
about
so,
someone passing.
Yeah, so I felt that was it. Nothing should be able to push me to that limit.
Yeah.
But it is difficult to explain that pain. It is in your heart. It is not moving. It is there. It is from darkness. Like you feel it. You feel that. You feel it in your chest. You feel that pain. If there is anybody in my entire political life who demonstrated a desire first to helping me, it was Honorable Mutala Mohammed. I remember when I came from London after my master's, I met him at Legon. That was when he was Deputy Information Minister. In fact, he had a problem even when I decided that I was after Nooks. When I became Nooks president and I said I was going for master's, he said, look, this is not the time for you to leave when your party is in power and blah, 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 blah. So I still went and came. When I came, I met him on Legon campus. And the first thing he said was, why are you hiding, Hamza? You have no idea what you have in you. Why are you running away from the media? Many of these guys who are speaking for the party, none of them are your colleagues. They are not your colleague when it comes to communication. I have engaged you severally. I know you. Step forward. And I'm not going to take any excuse. Tomorrow, a TV station will call you. You are going to start with TV Gold. Then TV Gold was running. And true to his word. And interestingly, whilst we were speaking, Osman Ayerga, who is now the National Youth Authority CEO, came and was like, and you too, Hamza handed over to you. You guys, why are you hiding?
Right. And
that was it. Placed me on TV and Osman. And that's how we started the communication.
And here you are now.
And so that genuineness, and he was such that if he had a problem with you, he wouldn't hide it. He would meet you on the way and say, oh, but you have done A, B, and C. And when you resolve it there, Honorable Mutala would move on as a true and devout Muslim as he was. And that was it. Unless, if you were still holding on to it, that was you.
Okay.
So for us, I think that I have lost a big brother, a mentor. I still remember our playful moments. Anytime we met, it was about teasing. You have done this, hey, your brother this, and we'll tease and laugh amongst ourselves. You tell me, it's like, you can't explain the feeling, but, sweetie, anyway. And Dr. Omane Boama, another beautiful brain. They were part of the very few who inspired us in the first place to be interested in running for Nooks president. A gentleman by all standards, meticulous in whatever task you gave him. That sense of comradeship around him, when you are around him, the willingness to provide direction, that was him. An only child of their mother. And so we can all say we are hurt, but I think that we should remember the old woman in our prayers and pray and hope that she's able to carry through. And to all those we have lost, the likes of Dr. Limuna, a very close associate of His Excellency President Mahama, and same with Dr. Omanibuama and Mutala. In fact, you can arguably say that Dr. Limuna is a member of the Mahama family because he's the anchor of the Mahama farms.
Okay. Hamza, I'll have to come back to you for another take on the matter. And let me go around now. Dr. Zato, thank you for joining us.
Good morning to you and good morning to your listeners. Yesterday, around this time, I was on another radio station.
Yeah, he texted.
It's surreal. We were just about finishing.
Yes.
Mutala, one of them sent a message.
Yes.
Yes. And the host read it. He was making fun of me. He was calling me a comrade. That comrade, Dr. Zato, is refusing to see the thing and stuff like that. So there was a very small banter, but we were almost done. That was it. He sent, and it's characteristic of him. Whenever I'm on radio or someone on TV, he will send a message to the presenter making fun of me. Teasing me, just making fun. Hey, that was so nice of him. That is whom he is. We were mates in Legon. We graduated the same year. He was there, and even there he was at his political best. I think that was where he cut his political teeth. He knew me very well, and when he came out, remember he just graduated with a PhD from the Department of Political Science.
Yeah, in December.
So we knew each other. You know, so it's like you sit down there and you're asking yourself, this is somebody. I actually thought we were like age mates. It was this morning when I was coming, I was listening to the radio that I heard that he's about 51. I'm like, oh, okay. Then he was about 5-6 years older than me. That was what I thought, because I thought that we all, you know, that group of people who left the school and came back. So for me, so yesterday, somebody sent me the video, actually say, hey, this was Dr. Mutala. Just send a message, and somebody was reading it. And it's now on social media, it's on Facebook. I'm like, see, it's something. So probably he was waiting for the flight, or he was on his way to the flight, whatever it is. That probably would have been one of his last engagement with the media before he went there. You know, my brother has said it best. I don't know what to add. The thing is this: they died serving their country. They are patriots. They died doing what they love, to serve. And they are patriots. They died trying to solve an existential problem. That is it. It's some way they died trying to tell us that this thing will kill us. That was what they were going there. There was a reason why they went there. They wanted to find a way to a difficult problem. They wanted to find a way to call it a wicked problem. A problem that has been bedeviling us for long. They were trying to find a better solution, an alternative solution, a way to make us deal with it in a humane way, in a civilized way. They wanted to say, we should be able to find a solution. And he never did. And you see, this is the funny thing. Whenever I'm on, I'm always, let me say, harsh on his environment, because whenever I'm talking about galamsey, it's little of him. And that is when he will always send a message to interact, which is kind of good of him, because he never got mad at me. He never called and say, hey, this, no. He will always want to contribute. He always want to help me with the facts. He will always let me know that he's working so hard. And honorable, I've seen it. Like, you know, so you're telling me, laid your honor, your life for something that you were fighting on. And remember when I was just coming in the interview, I was talking about the fact that we need to use science, knowledge, empirical data to fight climate change and to fight these wars. The question I ask myself is, what can we do to honor their memories? One of the best things we can do is to continue the fight that we're going to fight and finish it and end this galamsey thing. Then we can erect a monument in one of the places and said, here lies, or here were the fallen heroes who
gave their lives.
In the ultimate fight against this galamsey. Here lies the heroes who didn't rest, whose death sparked a national conscience, woke a nation up from slumber to realize that this is a serious existential threat and that we don't want and will never want their death to go to waste. Right. And if we do that, if we're able to get that kind of national monument, to say that they paid the ultimate price. You know, when you go to Washington, there's this cemetery where the Korean war. If we do something like, and then just name it, they paid the ultimate price. So nobody now has any excuse not to work towards doing this. That's one of the ways we can do to immortalize their memories, to let people, to let their children know. I'm sure they have young kids, right?
Yeah, 4.
Those kids will grow up one day, and if they see this one, they'll be like, yes. My father fought for this. My father died because of this. That this is a memorial. As a country, there's nothing better we can do to honor this. And look, I remember when 2003, when I was the poster president at the University of Ghana, Legon, we organized a program, military-civilian relationships in the post. Remember, Kufuor had just come, Rawlings had just left, the military and had left. And we invited him. He came as the NUC's president then. That was the first time I saw him. And the last time I met him again was some few weeks ago in Koforidua. We had gone for a training program, and I think he had gone for a program with Pojos or something like that. He was attending at the Eastern Premier Hotel. Then we met at the breakfast there. You see me, and when we came there, he basically spent all his time with people you would say are in opposition party members, chatting and laughing and this, and that was why I saw him. We don't know each other, but I knew he was the one. We just greeted and stuff like that. Nice guy, nice man, and. I see him holding his crucifix on the front of the center. He was a good Catholic, and we pray that may the good Lord have mercy on their souls. May He forgive them their sins, and may He welcome them into eternal kingdom. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you too. And I also upon.
Sweetie, it was quite. I don't know if the word is right, but it was devastating to have had, you know. And I just want to quote a few verses in the Bible. Revelations 21:4 says that, "Then God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither will there be any more pain. For the former things are passed away." Interestingly, you know, it's quite it was heartbreaking, and this personal, but I was supposed to have a meeting with him, and I called his PA, Abdullah.
Yes.
Yesterday, I called Abdullah around 12 midday. Then he was like, "Your brother is going to Obuasi. So when he is back, if we are not able to do it this evening, let's do it first thing in the morning." That is today, Thursday. And, you know, Mutala was Tamale Central MP. Me, I was born in Tamale Central. I started Tamale Central, yes. I mean, my house was very close to Bipena's palace, you know. And myself and Mutala, anytime we are done on a panel discussion, that ends the speaking of English. He speaks Dagbani with me. When I call him on phone and he picks up, he doesn't speak English to me. He goes straight, we speak Dagbani. And, sweetie, surprisingly, I was at the offices of the EPA yesterday. When the news broke. And the officers had not even heard it. It was my wife that called me. And I used a phrase on air and I cut the line. Because, you see, it's a stone throw from EPA to environment.
Yeah.
And so if such a news has come, definitely the officers would have heard it. only for me to step out of EPA after 2 minutes. Then I started getting calls. So I walked straight to Environment Ministry. They had not also heard it. But Abdallah was refusing to pick his calls. Then it dawned on me. I saw a few of our guys from Tamale. We all stood in front of Environment. Nobody could confirm. But one of them, I've forgotten his name, he's very close to Mutala. He drove in and Alaji was tearing. I couldn't look at him. I had to turn back, got into my car. For over an hour, I was seated in my car. You know, he's such a fine gentleman. And anybody who has had an interaction with him would agree that even in his, for lack of a better expression, in his aggressive presentation mood, he would smile. And he would always want to pass this funny, joke in between his presentations. And people can always see it on the floor of Parliament and other places. He was a fine brain, an excellent brain. My last discussion with him was on the WACA program, the West African coastal areas. And you could see the kind of mind, the kind of thoughts that he had for Ghana, he had for the environment, and his zeal to ending some of these environmental issues that we had. I wish the family well, the wife and the children. And Dr. Omani Buama, getting close to him was during these elections when I was put on the IPAC. And it was him, Dr. Tabuating, and then Tanko Computer, who used to come to represent the NDC. And that was how we got close. And the last time I saw him was, I think, 2 weeks ago or so. There was a symposium at the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, where he and His Excellency Ibn Chambers and His Excellency Obasanjo were all present with all of these security analysts and experts. And during a cause 2 weeks program also at the same place, just that ended I think last week. He was there to have a program, then he had a presentation, he met the press, and the normal of him, after the press, he was just meeting a lot of people. Right. That was a very fine soul and a very fine gentleman. But as Zato has said, they died in service to Ghana. The reason they were on that chopper, the helicopter, was because of the fight against galamsey. And so I sat here many weeks back, and I said that the issue of galamsey moves beyond ecocide, and that we should see it as part of genocide because it is killing people. Okay. If not for the galamsey, they wouldn't have been on that helicopter. And the people who are fueling the activities of galamseyers should be ashamed of themselves, and they should be bowing their heads, not as citizens, but as evildoers against this country. Right.
Thank you, Nana Sapong, Dr. Zato, and Hamza. So there are a number of statements pouring in that I want to bring your attention to. I want to start from the Ghana Armed Forces. And mind you, all the newspapers we have this morning are carrying the story. The Daily Graphic says, tragedy strikes nation. 2 ministers, 6 others perish in helicopter crash. President declares 3 days national mourning starting today, which is why, well, as you can see, we're all in black. But the statement from the Ghana Armed Forces is the first statement that I want to bring to your attention now. And it says that bodies of armed forces, Z9 helicopter crash victims brought to Accra. And I believe we'll put that statement on your screens in a bit so you can read along. The Ghana Armed Forces wishes to inform the general public that the bodies of the Z9 helicopter crash victims have been brought to Accra on board the Ghana Air Force Casa aircraft today. That was yesterday, August 5th, 2025. And at the Air Force Base, Accra, to receive the bodies were government functionaries led by the Chief of Staff of the Presidency, Honorable Julius Debra, the Military High Command, and well-wishers. The bodies have since been deposited at the 37 Military Hospital in preparation for interment later. Now, all 8 bodies were recovered from the crash site in the general area of Sikaman near Adansi in the Ashanti region. And finally, it says the Deputy Minister for Defense, Honorable Broja Jenfi, and the Military High Command extend their deepest condolences to the families in this difficult national tragedy. So this is a statement, I think the latest we have from the Ghana Armed Forces. Hamza, before I continue with the statement, I want to find out from you. I mean, you already explained to us how fond you were of some of the victims of that crash. You spoke about Mutala, you spoke about Dr. Manebwama. But what does this mean for you? I heard Dr. Zatu talk about the only reason they are dead now today is because of the illegal mining fight. But you as an individual, as a member of the NDC, which means the ruling administration, what does this mean for you?
I agree with Dr. Zatu and Sweetie. There's no better way to honor their memory than to step up efforts towards actually ending this menace. This death must signal our readiness to damn all the consequences and deal with those destroying our environment under the guise of mining.
Yeah.
Government must not take this death lightly. It must be a wake-up call for this government and future governments to declare actual war on galamsey. There's no better way to honor their memory than to do that. The politics surrounding it must end. Irrespective of your stature in society, whoever in one way or the other is engaged in illegal mining must be dealt with mercilessly. We do not have that luxury of time now. We can't continue on this tangent. This is the time to deal with it decisively. And we must, in the collective, irrespective of our partisan affiliations, accept this challenge. If truly we are concerned about each other, if truly we are concerned about our environment, sweetie, this is the time for us to let people know that these men did not die in vain. Let us honor their memory by actually becoming successful in this fight. Let nobody stand on the way of the government. Anybody who stands on the way of the government must be dealt with.
Hamza, what does this look like? This war that you say we should wage on illegal mining, regardless of party coloration, what would that look like now? Considering everything that they've done so far, what does this look like?
It looks like even if we need to ban mining, even legal mining to sanitize the sector for a year, we need to do it as a republic. If we have to do it, then we must do it. Because we can't continue this way. We can't continue this way. And you see, sweetie, it also raises another issue of our transportation networks. Sadly. Not long ago, they were talking about the defense minister, may his soul rest in peace, was talking about the state of our fleet. We've played politics with this thing since 2015, remember? Even when the state was engaged in negotiations to acquire some issues of Airbus, stuff like that, stalled. The new government came, the usual politics continued, stalled. So, especially those of us at the helm of affairs, the time has come for us to put our partisanship at. If people are serving our country, we must do everything within our power to actually make it easier for them to carry these services. So we must stop the politics. If we need to acquire many of these things in the interest of the state, let us have a bipartisan approach to it and acquire them. But of utmost importance is investments on our road network and rail services. I'm told Kumasi to Obuasi is about 45 minutes. Is there no way we can stop the politics and actually look at investing on our transport infrastructure? This is a journey that we could have done through a train service. We will travel. We've been outside this country. We use the train services. Connecting towns. These are things we can begin to have a discussion on. How do we fix it beyond the partisanship? How do we come together as a nation to have these things fixed? It's important. Because today, as ministers, only God knows the number of our citizens who die on a daily basis because of the poor nature of our transport systems.
Right.
We need to have these difficult discussions now, sweetie. It is important for the sake of our nation. We cannot afford to continue to lose our people this way. And they themselves, may their souls rest in peace, I think that they would want that more than any other thing. For us to begin to look at the critical sectors. Because I'm sure that if we had a very reliable train network system, a very reliable road network system, they probably would have chosen those options. That is the situation we find ourselves. But you see, as Muslims, there's the tendency for us to say that, look, this is how God wants it. Even if you had a very reliable railway system and an accident was meant to happen, it should have happened. That is religion. Accepted. But it does not also mean that we should not put in investments where we need to put those investments. Okay. And for me, knowing the Honorable Mutala, sweetie, he would have been making these arguments on this platform. This was a man who was guided by principle and belief, conviction. Even if he had to express them in the midst of his colleagues, his own party people, that even made them uncomfortable, you know him. He would do it.
Yeah.
That's him. So this is a time for us to have this discussion. Listen, the whole of yesterday, my interest in politics waned hugely. In all honesty, it waned hugely. And those of us who are entrusted with the responsibility to lead, this death must also be a reminder of the kind of legacies we would want to leave behind. And we must know that political office is not our personal property. We come and go.
Okay.
Today we are there, tomorrow we will go. So the question we should be asking ourselves, the nation will not forget their sacrifices. But those of us who are still alive, when we are dead and buried, what stories would we want the people of this country to say about us? Would it be a positive one or a negative one? Today, I'm seated here confidently. Honorable Mutala was not perfect because I was much closer to him than I was to any of the victims. I can tell you this. But it is even difficult to fault him, to even think of something negative that I can put on him since last night. And so the only thing I just said was, Inna illahi wa inna lillahi raji'un. To him we come from, the Most High, to him we go back to. And I am convinced, I was not at the scene of the crash as Muslims, I am convinced that the Honorable Mutala, a devout Muslim, would have undoubtedly, he would have done his Shahada before going, knowing him and his devotion to Islamic principles. So, sweetie, we must step up the efforts on galamsey. We must look at our transport system. If these fleet of vehicles needs to be changed, not even for the sake of the political class, but even for our armed servicemen who are sacrificing their lives on a daily basis in the service of this great country, because they use it most of the time than even the politicians do. We must begin having discussions to replace this fleet.
All right.
We must be talking about rail infrastructure expansion and investment.
Okay.
We must be talking about rehabilitating our roads. I am told, I can't remember the last time I used Accra Kumasi, but I'm told the manholes on that particular road network is clearly unacceptable. So it is not even safe for passenger travels. We must begin to have a look at those things. They would have wanted us to do so.
You raised very important, angles of the discussion. You're talking about transport, the state of our fleets. You're talking about the fight against illegal mining, and the very interesting posturing you just expatiated on that. Even if it means halting mining, legal, illegal, for a whole year, we ought to do it. This forces us to have the difficult conversations, but most importantly, take the difficult decisions. It's a good time to usher in Samuel Kojo Brace, my co-anchor. He joins us. Fantastic work yesterday, by the way. How are you doing?
I'm well, but sad.
Yeah.
Especially when the incident happened, I remembered the interaction we had with Honorable Mutala on his first day at work.
Yeah,
and
we played that back.
I saw it this morning. I was like, and he came across as a very, very nice man from that interaction we had with him. So it was difficult coming to terms with what happened to this gentleman yesterday. But I'm glad that our brother is raising those critical points about transport. I'm particular about the transportation network. We spoke about railway, I think, was it last week?
Yes.
About how railway, if we are, we commit ourselves to the railway system or network, it could take away a lot of vehicles from our roads. Because I'm from the Western region. If there was a proper railway network linking Takoradi to Accra, we would live in Takoradi and work here. So I'm happy that he's bringing, and I hope that once he's in government, they'll be listening to him, and some thought could strike those at the helm to say, let's do it for the sake of these gallant 8 men who have gone. So Honorable, I hope that you take this up, let the government think about it, that for the sake of the death of these people, for the declaration of a ban on mining, I'm sure it could easily be done, not so.
It is terrible.
The issue of, is it a fiat or whatever, you're a lawyer, how do you call that? To say, let's suspend all mining. I mean, for this period, let's put our house in shape. We can only hope that after the mines have been suspended, we will not come back to the situation we found ourselves in.
I want to run some of the things Hamza said by you, Dr. Zato, in terms of the devastating nature of our railway systems, the state of our fleet, and that very interesting. I want to stay on that because I like it. I'm sold on that. Yeah. Halt mining for at least a year. How does that sit with you?
Do you remember 9/11?
Yeah.
You remember 9/11?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
What it did was that it brought a country together, and it brought a world together. And the Americans said never again. That they would do any and everything to make sure that they never wake up to another 9/11. They did that. And whether you like Bush or not, he did it. He bombed the living hell out of Iraq, out of Afghanistan. He just went bonkers. Sorry.
Yeah.
So sorry for being, I want to tell you what they did. They said, look, never again. And never again means that you've got to go out there. He created a Department of Homeland Security. Security changes. Almost all of us at the airports were literally straight to be checked, everything. They said, never again. They meant it. They meant it. Can we do that? Can we see this as there was something called rally around the flag. The Americans call it rally around the flag. Can this be our rally around the flag moment? Can this be our 9/11? Can this be our never again moment? Because if we do that, then we will say that these men did not die in vain. Then we will say that these men died for something. We can then say that. We can then say it was this that woke us from that slumber that we had. It was here that we said we drew the line. It was here. And so that's what I'm saying. Oh, this going to look. The death of this gentleman have brought the country together in a way that has never been. As I said, yesterday, this morning, I was on a show and we were literally biting each other's heads off.
Yeah. Like Hamza said, even though the whole politics left his body. The whole of
I'm saying that the whole country, and it's
Yeah.
somber. It's also because of the personalities involved. These were nice people.
Yeah.
It also goes to show that our politics can be nice, our politics can be civil, our politics can be decent. But that's the point I'm making. Can we do that? Because if we do that, he made something about investment. He was the same finance minister saying that the presidential jet was unfit. And again, people did not agree with him. We took him on the usual politics, which is normal. I always say, look, if you disagree with a politician on a policy, it's okay, because that is what politics means. It's policy, so long as it's not personal, we are discussing policy. The first time I heard of presidential jet was when it was called a flying coffin. That's what President Rollins was using. But the appetite to get a good one was not there. Nobody, because again, politics, and nobody, even Jerry John Rollins himself could not bring himself to get anyone because he understood the politics. It took Kufuor to bring it, and Kufuor did a smart thing. He brought it when he was living because he knew what happened. Today, everybody says it. Now, the thing is that we say, oh, it's politicians who were flying in this. It's the president. Remember the remark that the president cannot even bath in, and so we see them as too much luxury for them. This is what we don't know. We don't understand. Today, almost every minister can decide that we are not going to fly for the next few days, as well in the country. Today, every MP can decide that we'll drive, we'll not do it. You know who doesn't have that choice? The Air Force men and women. They must fly. You see that big aircraft that brought the bodies?
Yeah.
I hear it must fly every day.
Yeah.
That's the one that goes to Tamale and comes back.
Yeah.
It must fly. So the soldiers, they don't have a choice to say, you know what? I'm just going to take off from the flying foot. No, because that is their job.
Yeah.
That means that we are okay to endanger their lives. That means that we are okay to say that even if it is a flying coffin, you keep flying. Because again, they must fly, they must train with them. What it takes to replace this and what it takes to invest in these things are, I want to use the word here properly, you need balls. Pardon my French.
You're fine.
Pardon my French.
Yeah.
You need balls. That's the only thing you need. Any president who wants to equip the armed forces, who wants to say, look, yes, I'm a president, but I also have a wife, I have family, I'm a human being. If I'm going to fly to go and save the country, I shouldn't be flying in an aircraft that you wouldn't fly even if it's a commercial flight for free. The politics will come, yes. The criticisms will come. We will say it, we'll talk about it. But what it takes are balls for you to say that, I'm going to do it, because that is what leaders do. Bush was criticized for the wars, for the bombing, for everything, for his entire life. Today, people are seeing it in a different way. Never again has never happened again. They've done it. So my point is that we need that. We need the people to say that, because that's the point. Literally, you can, they are professionals. They are soldiers. They are just ordinary people. They must go to their work. So let's begin to see that. If we see that, if we get that kind of investment, and then we can say that, look, you know what? The criticism will come, but we are investing in our people. We are investing in this effort. I hear almost all the people are from the Air Force Base. Imagine one Air Force Base get up and like 4-6 of your people gone. The devastating effects. As a country, what can we do? Again, that's what I'm saying. So the rallying round with the galamsey, let what's his name, Mutala's son wake up, go somewhere and see a monument. Let this monument say they did not lose their lives in vain. That it was this, we put this monument there to commemorate them And this was the day that a nation woke up from slumber. This was the day that a nation that true leaders emerged. This was the day that leaders who cared me. This was the day that leaders said, to damn with politics, to hell with politics, that we have an existential crisis. That these fine brains, these fine young men, these fine people, their loss is not going to be in vain. That we are going to continue their mission and bring it to a successful end. Like Bush did, like other countries, at the moment we do that, then we are going to say ourselves that we have honored their visions. We have honored what they come to. This period of national mourning is something that we should tap into to advance the country going forward. These other investments can come. These other things can come. But let's ask ourselves that we cannot miss this. Their memories are there. And you know one thing too that we are doing? Most of the attention seems to be on the politicians. Look, whether you like it or not, probably it's because as politicians they have a face. We know them. These other people are just bureaucrats, if I want to put it that way. Long bureaucrats who are behind the scenes, so they know them. And the soldiers, well, they are just soldiers doing their normal soldier work. Yeah. But that is the reality. The reality then happens that, assuming, I want to ask the question, assuming this crash had happened, and there was no politician on board. Do you understand the problem? Assuming there was no politician on board, we wouldn't have had this. But that is the reality. The reality, as I said today, this morning, they are still flying. They are still going on missions. They are still going on training. They are still doing their daily job. We do our daily jobs, no? But we are okay to allow them to risk their lives in their daily jobs. As a country, as a nation, we can do better. We should do better. And it's important that we do better because that is what happens. So let's do not let our president, our vice president, our senior politicians fly in an aircraft that we know is no due for purpose. Right. If that means buying a new one, you should buy it. And because, look, like Kufuor bought it, he never sat in it. He left. Like Kufuor, he built the Jubilee house. He never lived, worked there. He left. But that is what posterity means. Right. Posterity will be nice to you. Posterity will be fair to you. Posterity said there was a leader who dumped the consequences and put his national interest first. And I think that this rallying around the Black Star movement, this rallying around the flag movement, this is where Ghana, we wake up and we say that politics will come, politics will go. Okay. As the Indian says, comrades will come, comrades will go. The revolution continues. I'm parroting that in the powerful decision. We can then say here that, look, politics will come, politics will go. Policies that advance the interests of the nation will live on. The country, Ghana, will live on. And I want patriotic citizens, young, viral, smart, intelligent, patriotic citizens pay the ultimate price in the service of their country. A nation must be grateful, and a nation must remember them.
Thank you. So, Nanaya, on this round, I mean, pardon this question if it sounds sinister because no malice intended, right? But I want to piggyback from what Dr. Zato said about if there were no politicians on board, would we even be having such a nationalistic approach or conversation around this? Because many other people who've lost their lives to illegal mining, but it looks like this particular one ought to be that clarion call, that wake-up call for us to start doing things differently. Now, the question is it enough? 8 deaths, enough for us to sit back and say, indeed, it is time for us to stop the talk shop and treat this thing like the existential crisis that it is?
Thank you very much, Sidi. And I think that that's a very good call. I can't remember if it was on this platform or one of the major networks. Somebody made a statement which I affirmed, and I said that should we lose some politicians to galamsey, the conversation will change. It's unfortunate my brother is bad. It's very much unfortunate.
Yeah, very.
But you would realize that from yesterday, even you, the journalists and the broadcast presenters, the argument, the presentations have changed. Sweetie, you remember when there was this galamsey issue on the table, Zato, Movement for Change made a presentation and said that we should suspend all mining activities for 1 year, call back all licenses and certifications. I don't know if you remember this statement.
Yeah.
And halt it for 1 year for us to audit the activities of small-scale miners, for us to see what is actually happening with our forest reserves, and our water bodies, we had politicians sink and say no. We had lawyers quoting laws and trying to tell us that the state had contractual agreements with these small-scale miners, and for that matter, it cannot happen. We have lost 8 lives. 2 very important ministers. Not that the other ministers are not important, but we are talking about the Minister for Defense. We are talking about the Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, if I'm right. Yeah. We are talking about 3 crew members that we have trained with our national resources. 3 of them. Squadron Leader Peter, Flying Officer Chum, and Sergeant Ernest Ado. 3 young men. Do you know the most painful aspect of this? I don't know if it was Chum or Ado. One of them got married just a month ago.
And we understand one of them also left a 2-month-old baby.
Yeah.
Come on, do Papa. See, this dawn when I woke up, I asked myself one simple question. What would that lady be going through? Why do we do this to ourselves as a nation? You remember, I sat here and I said that galamseyers are killing us. Let us introduce a shoot to kill. In those places, they sat here and spoke English. Told me.
Big grammar.
Big grammar. That do I know human rights?
Blah, blah.
These 8 men, are they not human beings?
What are their rights?
Do they not have rights to life? Mutala is left behind 4 children. After 1 week, we forget about their children. Suhuyini was talking about Omani Buame's mother, the only child. The only child. You should have seen this woman's video when I saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
I wept. Every parent's wish is for the child to bury her.
Not the other way around.
Now she has to bury her child because of galamsey. Why do we do this to ourselves as a nation?
Right. So is it enough? Do you think this begins that renewed energy towards this fight? That renewed approach?
It does not begin the renewed approach. This is the beginning of the end of this galamsey thing.
Hopefully.
We should be able... What was the phrase you said in French and you said we should forgive you?
We should have the balls.
Yes.
The balls.
We should.
Sorry for making me laugh.
Sweetie, you see, it started when, what's the gentleman's name? The one that they built a statue for?
Major Mahama.
Major Mahama.
Oh, good. We should add him to this list.
It started from the days of Major Mahama. We made noise around it for about a month or 2, and that ended it. Sweetie, if we want to fight galamsey, we can fight galamsey. We have been calling for the halt of galamsey mining activities, and you see, we tied the hands of the lands minister. He is just so brave a man to be taking certain decisions backed by the president because they have that political will to be able to put an end to galamsey and to have been taking some of these decisions. Where we are now, nobody should come to tell us that certain decisions that will be taken by the president, supported by the lands minister, is too harsh. Yeah. When you have come to say it is too harsh, then you should go to Mutala's house and see the face of his children. When you have come to say it is too harsh, then you should go to Omani Boame's house and see the mother.
Exactly.
If you have come to say it is too harsh, go to that flying officer and see the wife he married freshly, 1 month.
Right.
We
So
should
in a bit,
Sorry, I don't cut you, but I want to ask him, what about the suggestions that, because Dr. Bomfair sat here and suggested that we should allow the communities to own these mineral resources.
That is a long-term, thing.
Okay.
That is a long-term thing. We need immediate solutions leading into the long-term measure.
Okay.
How do we halt the thing and implement the policies into the long term?
Okay.
Yes, of course. I mean, they raised the issue about infrastructure and transport. In 2021, Sweetie, just give me some few seconds. 2021, encroachment delaying Kumasi-Obuasi Railway Project, Deputy Minister. This was published by, I can mention the name of the platform, right? City Newsroom. It says that the Ministry of Railway Development has attributed delays in the commencement of the Kumasi to Obuasi rail line project to encroachment on the lines. President Akufo-Addo in September 2020 cut the short for work to start on the 83.5 kilometer standard gauge railway line as part of the new Western line being constructed.
Yeah.
You understand me?
Yeah.
The Deputy Minister for Railways Development, Kweku Asante-Boateng, who spoke to journalists during the tour, said the government was working to resolve the challenges. 2021.
Yeah.
We are in 2025.
I want to add something small to what you're saying. It's not and disagree with some small. We can look the commercial miners, those that we know have been doing it. We can leave them with your 1 year moratorium. Because whether we like it or not, we have to feed people. We can then do go for the big people.
They are not doing the galamsey.
But the 1 year,
it's also on the small scale mining activities.
Yes,
that is what we're talking about.
They can say, look, if we declare a state of emergency just 1 year, we say we just do it 1 year to use it to sanitize the process. Because see, this thing they were going to do was part of the sanitization of the process.
Yeah.
Now, what happens is that if you sanitize it and you put, let's say, the good water back, they may go and meet the dirty water of the galamseyers. But if you have that 1 year, say no, and then you clear off all the debris for purposes of this debris.
See,
now we not begin to bring it.
We have the solutions, but we refuse and we're blinded by our myopic thinking.
Exactly.
But gentlemen, I'm not cutting you, but I'm asking that how do we ensure that after this 1 year moratorium, we don't come back to this? We remember in 2017...
We are not coming back to that. That's why I'm saying that it is...
There was the same moratorium, right?
No, it is a process.
You see, Doc, that's why...
We had laid down the process.
Nana, just briefly. If you were listening to me, that's why I said that. I know that tempers are high. The passion to fight this thing is high, justifiably so because of the demise of these great 8 men. And that is why I was careful in my choice of words. I said, if we would have to do this. But then it must be done. But you see, there's also another leg to it. Even in our anger, we still must be mindful of the human rights implications of that fight. I can understand your anger, Doc, justifiably so. But you see, we are also dealing with Ghanaians. Because even in the fight, if you are not careful and you are not being mindful of human rights, maybe we are this sad because these are leaders of our country. There are many innocent Ghanaians out there who lose their lives on a daily basis because of this issue of galamsey. And so that is why I'm saying that, look, this must urge us on. But in doing so, we must not appear as a lawless state.
Yeah, Hamza, but
we must still have regard to our laws. Even these great men would still want us to honor our laws. And then it's important.
With the galamsey fight, are we at a war or we are not?
I think we are. For some time now. Okay. I believe that we are at war.
So it's good you say we are at a war. What do you do when you're at a war?
You see, there's a declaration of war even has legal remits. Even he knows public international law, PIR. It has legal remits. Especially if you are doing it intrastate. to achieve a certain political objective. It does not mean when we say that we have declared war on this, we will go all out disregarding our legally laid down principles. No, that's not what we mean. But when I say it is war, this attitude of politicians calling to intervene when suspects are picked up in the name of illegal mining must not be entertained. This attitude of politicians placing calls to get excavators released back to these guys must not be entertained. This attitude of us going to them to finance our campaigns and our activities must stop. We must go out there and crack the whip if we have to do it for the sake of these great men and our republic. And these are some of the things I'm talking about. You see,
so do you disagree with Nana's suggestion of the shoot to kill? You disagree with him on that?
Absolutely. I cannot.
He's a lawyer.
I cannot.
He's a lawyer, so I understand him.
No. And I'm sure that even these great men, if they wake them up today and ask them, they would not agree with the philosophy of shoot to kill. It is something we can.
Right. And I want to circle.